Real Country 1430 AM and 1073 FM, WRDN. It's National FFA Week, and all this week we're saluting FFA. And today is joining us Ben Steyer. He is our state FFA vice president. And so we had a chance to talk with Ben and talk a little bit about FFA Week. Happy National FFA Week, Ben.
Thank you. Happy National FFA Week as well. I'm excited to be here.
Well, and this has been a unique year to say the least to be state vice president of FFA. You've had to do a lot of interviews just the way we're doing this via Zoom, haven't you?
Yes, much of the year has been virtual. Even our officer selection process was virtual. But all throughout all these virtual things, it still has been a great opportunity to connect with members and still have this opportunity to serve them, even though the service itself may look a little different.
So as you've been meeting with some of the state FFA members, what are some of the things you guys are talking about?
We've done a lot of different projects throughout the year and reinventing some of what FFA traditionally does. So some of the things we did were fall leadership workshops. Those were workshops that we did completely on Zoom. And then we also had fire conferences on Zoom. We celebrated the national convention virtually. So we've had a lot of opportunities to connect with members. And the state theme this year is unstoppable. And I can't underscore enough how members have really embodied that throughout the year, even just a couple weeks after COVID kind of hit the US and things took over. Members worked with their alumni councils to put together dairy drives, blood drives. They did highway cleanups. They even put together COVID safety supply kits and gave them to people in need, making a difference in their communities.
Has that been the biggest challenge, Ben? Because so many local FFA chapters, they do so much community outreach, but these are all things that are in person that it makes it a little bit, it's been a challenge this year.
It definitely has been a challenge trying to do some of these service activities while giving back and keeping COVID the top priority. I serve on the service committee within the state officer team, so that's something that I've been working on, and we're going to be having a service challenge throughout National FFA Week that National FFA is putting on. But the great thing about a lot of these service activities is that they can happen outside, at least to some degree, like the highway cleanups or the dairy drives that happened over the summer and spring, that these could happen where people were social distance outside and they could wear masks so that we're still able to keep our health a top priority.
I'm sure, Ben, one of the benefits of being a state officer has been the ability to travel. You kind of lost that, and I'm sure that that's something that for yourself. I know for myself, when I was on the NAFB board of directors, the travel part of it was kind of a nice little benefit, but that's something I'm sure you've missed this year.
We still get to travel some, obviously, maybe not as much as a normal team would, but about every month, the state officers get together in Marshfields in the center of the state, whether we're planning a workshop or putting on workshops or planning different events. So we're still able to travel and keep COVID practices when we're together. And then we're still able to do a lot of virtual things with chapters. So even though the traveling aspect may be a challenge, we're still able to work with them. And thank goodness this pandemic hit when we had the technology that we currently do. Obviously, we wish the pandemic wouldn't have hit at all, but thankfully it did hit when we have things like Zoom and Google Meet and email so that we can do these things and still connect with members.
Talking with Ben Steyer. He is the state FFA vice president. And on this FFA week, Ben, along with that national service that FFA is doing for nationally for the FFA week, what are some of the other things that some of our local chapters here in Western Wisconsin are doing to celebrate FFA week?
There are so many activities going on here in Western Wisconsin. I know Mondovi is going snow tubing. Their chapter also put on a staff appreciation breakfast, and they're doing dress up days throughout the week. Additionally, the St. Croix Central FFA is putting on a staff appreciation breakfast as well. And with that, they're actually having some of the state officers Zoom with them. And then we're going to share a little bit about FFA with staff members and do some agricultural trivia as well. And in my home chapter in Menominee, we're giving out individual pudding cups to students and staff at the high school just to celebrate what FFA week is and promote the dairy industry as well.
How important, Ben, is it that you reach out to other staff members of area school districts that really may not know too much about FFA week or FFA other than, oh yeah, it's this FFA thing this week, or, we see these kids wearing these blue coats. We know something about FFA, but they really don't know too much about it.
Right. There is a large communication gap out there between FFA members or people coming from agriculture sometimes and the general public. But FFA Week provides us a great opportunity to bridge that gap and address some things within the organization. I think back to when I attended the Washington Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. a couple years ago, before COVID times, obviously. And with that, I remember walking in the metro area and people seeing all these blue jackets, and they started to take pictures and videos of us just because it was so unnatural to see. But that allows us a great opportunity to share what we do within the FFA, share about our organization, and spread the word about all that we do.
Ben, school districts, obviously, they've been facing a lot of tough issues, especially in the wake of COVID, for their budgets and things like that. Have yourself, other state officers, and even other chapter members reached out to school board members too, to kind of talk with them about what FFA and agricultural education means to school districts?
Definitely, yes. Even before COVID, I remember my chapter going to our school board members just to advocate for FFA and talk about what we do. But especially in the times of COVID now, making sure that we share the message of FFA and share all that FFA is continuing to do. Like I said, the state theme is unstoppable, and sharing that members are really living up to that this year, that we can impress administration and show them what their members are doing. It's a pretty incredible thing to see when members can collaborate in that way and share all that the organization is doing.
We're talking with Ben Steyer this morning. He is the state FFA chapter during this national FFA week. Ben, there's been a big push recently over the last few years on technical education, because we need plumbers, electricians, construction folks, those types of folks. That's where FFA and agricultural education really kind of kick in, even though it may not be quote unquote agricultural, but those types of jobs, FFA and that agriculture teacher, they kind of, that's like right up, that's in their wheelhouse.
Yes, for sure. FFA is really unique in the fact that it has supervised agricultural experiences, and these are work-based enterprises that allow students to get hands-on experience, whether they're working somewhere, doing an entrepreneurship experience, even doing research. There's so many possibilities within this. And just like you talked about, career and technical education is so important, and FFA is a small part of that, but it really sets students up for career success. We found that students who have at least 25 hours of community service in high school and participate in some type of leadership organization with this off-campus kind of work experience, that students are much more career ready and they can hit that career work field after high school.
Talking with Ben Steyer this morning. He is the state FFA vice president as we celebrate FFA week. So Ben, for those watching through our YouTube channel or listening on the radio and their parents, why should they encourage their sons or daughters to join FFA?
FFA is such a unique organization that allows students to grow in the areas of career success, leadership development, and overall personal growth. So it's a great opportunity to get involved. Even if students may not come from an agricultural background, there is definitely a place for them within the organization to learn about where our food comes from, how it's produced, anywhere from food, fiber to fuel. We all have a role within agriculture, and it's something that we can celebrate and learn through the organization.
Then there's the other part of this is you make a lot of nice friends being part of FFA, don't you?
Definitely, yes. You have a lot of opportunities to meet other students. You get to travel most years. Obviously, this year may look a little different, but there's still so many opportunities. Coming up, we have our leadership development events, also known as speaking contests. And then moving into the spring, we also have career development events, also known as judging contests sometimes. So those are great opportunities for students to get involved and develop some of these skills as well.
You mentioned the speaking contests. An FFA alum, a very, very famous FFA alum, is Orion Samuelson. And it was because of FFA and his agricultural teacher that it's how he started in public speaking and broadcasting when he was 17. That's the benefit of FFA right there, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. There are so many examples of students seeing the great benefits within the organization. I remember for myself personally coming in my freshman year and trying to deliver the FFA creed. I was nervous coming in and trying to memorize it, and working through that, practicing it over and over, and then eventually participating in more LDEs allowed me to really grow my public speaking skills and gain confidence when interviewing or when delivering speeches. So definitely so many skills we can harness from these opportunities.
And those skills, I bet, are going to be very valuable to you as you get older and explore career opportunities, right?
For sure. I'm in one of my college classes, we're learning that public speaking is one of the number one fears in America. So just by having that edge among others and being comfortable talking with one another is a huge benefit, especially in today's day and age.
What's the future career plans? Are you going to take over Dad's spot on the farm, or at the farm, or not?
We will see. I'm not totally positive what I would like to do yet. I am a student, a freshman this year at the University of Minnesota, and I'm studying animal science and agricultural and food business management. So I think my end goal would be to come to the farm. I think I'll probably end up working somewhere else within the dairy industry or the agricultural community as a whole sometime. But I don't exactly know what that journey will look like.
You never know. Dad might give you an offer you can't refuse. I mean, what you're studying, that's going to be pretty valuable on the farm.
We'll see.
That is Ben Steyer. He is the state vice president of the FFA here in Wisconsin as we celebrate National FFA Week. And we'll be saluting our FFA members throughout the week here on WRDN.